Have a good day, children. Now, again, today I want to talk with you all. We have already taken up the unit compound sentence, and by now I expect it must be clear to you what a compound sentence is. Compound means to put together, to mix together, to amalgamate two or more things into one, to frame something one combining many of the things. This is what we find in compound sentence. Compound sentence joins more than one clauses, or you can say that two simple sentences or more than two simple sentences are put together to frame a single one, longer one, more meaningful than the simple sentences. That's why this type of sentence has been named compound sentence. You have already come to know especially the linkers here. You have studied linkers in former class, previous class as well. And now here you know the importance of these linkers very much. When we talk about compound sentence, in most cases we use 7 conjunctions in joining sentences together. In former classes, it has been repeated time and again. Repetition is not considered to be a good thing, especially in literature. But it has been done with this expectation that the important things must get well inculcated in your mind. For that reason it has been done. And again, once I tell you that the 7 conjunctions are used in compound sentence or sentences to put the components of sentence or sentences together. And which are these 7 conjunctions? By now you must have remembered. Still I tell you once more. You know it. Or is a word, one, then, nor, for, but, yet, so. These are 7 conjunctions which are used in compound sentence or sentences. I mean not together. All the 7 generally don't come together, although if you intend, then that is possible, because simple sentences may be any number, and you know it, literature persons, they go on showing their efficiency in addition, adding the simple sentences into a single one. And so any skillful person can use all these 7 coordinating conjunctions to form a single sentence. But generally we use 1-2 conjunctions to frame a compound sentence. For this reason, you have to remember these 7 coordinating conjunctions, they are called. These conjunctions, which will be very helpful to you in many respects. Now look at coordinating conjunction and a comma. Punctuation helps a lot in framing the sentence and then creating meaning in sentence or sentences used. Now look at the most common way independent clauses in a compound sentence are linked is with a coordinating conjunction and a comma. We use coordinating conjunction and a comma to make a compound sentence. That's why you must remember these punctuation marks as well. Now again, the conjunctions which have to be kept in your mind have been repeated here. There are 7 coordinating conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet. So the acronym FAN boys is often used to help remember them. When you use one of these conjunctions to link the clauses, you must include a comma immediately before the conjunction. Generally, when we use and, then in some cases we don't use comma everywhere. For example, he writes a paragraph, a letter, and an article. He writes a paragraph, after that comma is needed. But after letter it is not needed because and is already a conjunction and it's showing that something different is coming just after and. But that is not the same with the sentence here, especially when compound sentence we have to use or to write. Before and also we use comma. So you must remember it. Here example has already been given to you. I ran the entire way there, but I still missed the bus. You are looking at but is adding to small sentences, to clauses. But even if but is here, before but one comma has been used. Now look at semicolon. What does semicolon do? Especially with reference to compound sentence. Semicolon you have already studied and you will study in the standard 8 no doubt in practice book. But here you have to understand semicolon with reference to clauses and especially compound sentence. Now what is it you see? Semicolons join two independent clauses without any joining words like conjunctions. Semicolon itself does the work of a conjunction. If you use it, there is no need to use the coordinating conjunction or conjunction. So, it is very important. Independent clauses separated by a semicolon could have been separated by a period and made into two separate sentences, but the author chose to keep the clauses linked in a single sentence. Now what is example you see? France is my favorite country to visit. I never run out of things to do there. Now you are looking at France is my favorite country to visit. I never run out of things to do there. If semicolon is not used, then this sentence has two parts, two independent sentences. France is my favorite country to visit, complete in itself. Similarly, I never run out of things to do there. This is another sentence. But here, semicolon has the power to combine two very powerful simple sentences to a single place. to a single connectivity, to a single joining, and that's how you can say that semicolon is very powerful. In compound sentence, we use another punctuation mark, and that is colon. Colon also is helpful in understanding the compound sentence, but here you find colon's work. Colon's work is slightly different from semicolon. It gives some additional information about something, and for that reason generally this colon happens not to be exactly doing the same work which we find in case of semicolon. If colon is used, it means instead of coordinating clause, there will be subordinating clause. In most cases, there may be some exceptions, but in most cases, it may be possible. Otherwise, if colon is used, some additional information you will find in the following words or the framework of a sentence. Now, let us come to next one, dash. Dash can be used in place of colons or semicolons, and they are used when the author wants to create a more abrupt stop or to emphasize the words after the dash. Same with colons. Be aware that most words that follow a dash aren't an independent clause. It has been clarified here. Dash can take place of both colon and semicolon and can have the function of any of these two. But in most cases, what we find that dash is used there where there is some abrupt, some strange kind of emphasis. So see here, he wasn't just late. Dash, he didn't show up at all. He wasn't just late. He didn't show up at all. What is the meaning? That he was late. But late means he was not late because he reached late. Rather, instead of reaching to the place proper, he was wandering about somewhere else, doing something different from his original work. So he didn't show up at all. Even if he reached exactly on time, he didn't appear there. So the persons who should have seen him, they couldn't see him, and so he was considered to be late. So this is how you find that even if the person was not late, he was considered to be late. This is an abrupt situation, and so in such a case, dash is used. Now it's necessary to do some worksheet, and here you have to use semicolon just as you have seen when the use of semicolon was already being narrated to you. He lives near the beach, semicolon. The salty air is making his car rust. There is not much difference in the parts of this sentence where we are using semicolon and making a composite of these two sentences and framing a complete whole meaningful sentence. Now see second number. We did an experiment in class. semicolon. All the students participated. Third number, it was a very hot day, semicolon. I had to use a fan to keep cool. Next number, my friend was feeling sick, semicolon. I walked her to the nurse's office. This is how you have to understand it. Now look at next one. The traffic on the freeway was horrible. I decided to wait. The traffic on the freeway was horrible, semicolon. I decided to wait. My class is having a party tomorrow. I am bringing chips and salsa. My class is having a party tomorrow, semicolon. I am bringing chips and salsa. Seventh number, the big dog scared the little boy. He ran the other way. Now, how you have to put them together? The big dog scared the little boy, semicolon. He ran the other way. Eighth number, Steven's book report is due on Friday. He is reading the book now. Steven's book report is due on Friday, semicolon. He is reading the book now. Remember that when you are putting two sentences together, even if every word is almost the same when you are using semicolon, after semicolon, the word which has to be used, that must be written with a small letter. Here in this sentence you can see very well. In the first part, Steven's book report is due on Friday. S is capital, but you can say S is already named Stevens. So there, but here he, he, here H is capital because it is a separate sentence. But when you have to use together both these two simple sentences, in that case, after semicolon you have to use he. He is small he, H, and then he. Now look at ninth number. Pam and Lisa had a fight. They are not talking to each other today. Pam and Lisa had a fight, semicolon. They are not talking to each other today. 10th number. Pop sides are on sale at the store. My dad bought me one. Now here, pop sides are on sale at the store, semicolon. My dad bought me one. This is how you have to frame a single sentence. Now look at worksheet number 2. For each of the following, choose the sentence with the correct punctuation. You asked for forgiveness. He granted it to you. You are looking at comma is given here. So this cannot be considered to be very good here. You asked for forgiveness. He granted it to you. Because some additional information is being given. You asked for forgiveness. What happened then about forgiveness? He granted it to you. Some more information is there. So here you have to use semicolon. And where do we have semicolon? Sorry, colon here. Not oh, you have to use here you have to use, but here you are not getting the colon option. So you have to be satisfied with semicolon. You asked for forgiveness, he granted it to you. This is how this sentence is purely, perfectly compound sentence. But what happens next, you see? We ask, therefore, that you keep this matter confidential. We ask, therefore, that you keep this matter confidential. We ask, therefore, that you keep this matter confidential. We ask, therefore, that you keep this matter confidential. We ask, for what? That matter must be kept confidential. That's why this D number will be correct sentence. Now come to third one. The order was requested 6 weeks ago. The order was requested 6 weeks ago. Therefore, I expected the shipment to arrive by now. The order was requested 6 weeks ago. Therefore, full stop is given. This is not possible at all. I expected the shipment to arrive by now. The order was requested 6 weeks ago. Therefore, I expected the shipment to arrive by now. This is also not correct. So D number, the order was requested 6 weeks ago. Therefore, comma, I expected the shipment to arrive by now. But 2 is again separated by comma. So this is also a problem here. For this reason, third A will be correct answer. The order was requested 6 weeks ago. Therefore, comma, I expected the shipment to arrive by now. Now look at next number, fourth number. The American flag has 3 colors, red, white and blue. Here you are getting clearly some additional information. So B number will be correct answer. The American flag has 3 colors, red, white and blue. This is the correct answer of this question. Now look at last one. She said she loved the book, so I gave it to her. Next one. She said she loved the book, so I gave it to her. She said she loved the book, so I gave it to her. She said she loved the book, so I gave it to her. Now, again you find that book was given for some specific reason to her. Some additional information, and at the same time you find that this sentence is going to be a compound sentence. So this D number is correct answer. She said she loved the book, so I gave it to her. She said she loved the book, so I gave it to her. See, number A also could have been the answer. But here after so, comma has been used. She said she loved the book, so I gave it to her. This D number will be the answer of this sentence. Now in this way, I expect that you must try to understand everything about the compound sentence. Try to make your own answer. Try to make your own notes, and in that case you will definitely be benefited. from this online education system. It may be possible that later also you may have to take resort to such explanation of the chapters, the units. So you have to be well acclimatized to such a situation now, like lockdown, which we are suffering from, at least at present. But we have to try our best to change this mortification into a kind of pleasure. That's what is the positivity of life. And you have to find out the correctness from incorrectness. You know it, errors like straws upon the surface flow, and one who is in search of truth must dive below. So you try to put out what is the error, what is mistake, and try to put up the good one, the right one, the expected one at its place. This is how we learn. Our ability goes on extending because of our practice, because of our work, and because of our trying to be perfect. It's all right. Thank you very much. Now it's not certain whether we will get the chance again to enjoy this online class, or we will be somewhere in real physical classroom itself of the school. Still, whatever may be the situation, we will be benefited, no doubt. So let's bid goodbye today.